Welcome to Contemporary Living with Farmer and Hill. I am your host, Melissa Farmer, and we are so happy that you decided to take out time in your day to tune us in. And of course, I want to introduce the other host of Contemporary Living with Farmer and Hill. He is a leader, a mentor, grace teacher, a leasing extraordinaire. He's a wonderful friend and a wonderful companion. And also, as I said before, the host of Contemporary Living with Farmer and Hill, Mr. Andre Hill.
Thank you, Melissa. I always introduce my lovely co-host, Melissa Farmer. Just to give you a little background about her, she's retired from the military. She's a chief warrant officer for over 20 plus years. She's an author of a book called Army Strong Women. It's Army Strong Women.
More than one.
yeah, more than one. Yeah. And also, she has 3 degrees. Mm-hmm. She has one in business administration. She just graduated from Roosevelt University with a degree in event planning, and she has a degree in general studies.
Yes.
Yeah. So she's my friend, companion, and she's a wonderful woman. And we're here with Contemporary Living to hopefully give you a lot of knowledge today.
Absolutely. So we're going to go right on into Farmer's question of the day. And today's question is, how do you overcome your own negative thoughts? Now, I'm not talking about the types of, negativity that we get from others, like when people kind of hate on you or throw shade, or there are just some people that don't like you. But I'm talking about the thoughts that we keep deep down within.
Yes.
Those thoughts can include questions like, I'm not enough, I'm never going to be successful. So today's question of the day is, how do you overcome your own negative thoughts? Because it's a lifelong challenge to overcome these things, because sometimes we do have battles with them. So I'm going to ask you, Andre.
For me?
Yeah. How do you overcome your own negative thoughts for our question of the day?
I think there's numerous ways to overcome negativity. Prayer and meditation, listening to some motivational speeches, reading. Also, just surrounding yourself around positive people.
That matters.
Make sure you have good people around you, good family and friends that's going to inspire you, that's going to encourage you, and just going to, be a support to you. So these are some things that you can do, to keep those negative thoughts outside your head.
Absolutely. And we want to hear from you. So we want you to answer the question, how do you overcome your own negative thoughts? So we want you to respond to us by writing to us, farmerandhill@gmail.com, or comment in the dialogue box below. We want to hear from you.
Yes,
Farmer's question of the day, how do you overcome your own negative thought?
And also, I like how the Bible say, idle mind is the devil's workshop. So you definitely want to keep busy and keep your mind on positive things.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we're going to move on to our first segment today, our upcoming, and we're going to talk about wellness, health, and we're going to have Miss Melissa Farmer go ahead and educate us.
Absolutely. And as I always say, well-being is a state of being comfortable, being healthy, and experiencing just overall happiness. And that's what we want to do for you on this show. We want to tackle those areas or challenge you and encourage you in those areas so you can experience just whole health all around. And so for today's topic or today's segment, we're going to discuss one of the things that you mentioned, and that is breathing, relaxation, and meditation. Now, when I say meditation, some people think that, it's for the highly enlightened or it's something esoteric. But in actuality, meditation is simply thinking or focusing your mind for a period of time. That's all meditation is. And that's what we're going to do today. So with the help of my host, Andre, we're going to practice some breathing techniques. And I want you to just kind of think about it for a while, because most of the breathing that we do is really shallow. And so there's some physiological things that happen when we breathe shallow, when we breathe in a shallow way. Our lungs don't get enough exercise. We get fatigued faster. And the oxygen is not properly distributed throughout the body. So by these deep breathing techniques that we're going to use today, it'll help kind of facilitate better breathing for you. And the more you do it, the better you get at it, just like with anything else. So we're going to have Andre demonstrate a deep breathing technique. So what I'd like for you now to just, if you're sitting down, please sit down and just place your back on the back of the chair.
Okay, I can do that. All right.
And my voice is going to go a little lower. Now I just want you to relax, look wherever you like, and just sit and be present in the moment. So how the technique works is that you're going to breathe in for a count of 4, hold that breath for a 4 count, and then breathe out or exhale through the mouth. And we're going to repeat that. So just sit, breathe in for a count of 4, 2, 3, 4, hold for 4, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, breathe in, 2, 3, 4, hold your breath, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4. Do it once on your own. Now I want you to continue to do that, because now we're going to go into a meditation. So with that same breath, breathing technique, I want you to close your eyes. And remember what we said, meditation is simply thinking deeply or focusing your mind for a period of time, and that's it. So what meditation does, it decreases stress, it helps you get clarity, it helps you clear up some of the stuff that's going on inside your head. So all you're doing is breathing, relaxing, and focusing. And you can use this to either focus on spirituality, you can focus on your goals, you can focus on your values, you can focus on anything you like. And then the one good thing about meditation is it doesn't have to occur with your legs crossed. You can simply do it while you're exercising, while you're moving things around. It's just focusing. That's all you're doing. The breathing techniques we've incorporated with this meditation, it just helps. So if you're able to do this every day, please do. And take your last breath for the breathing technique and meditation, and then open your eyes. How was that?
I feel good. I'm going to take a nap now.
No. We must march on.
Yes, very relaxing.
Good. I'm glad.
I like how it says how David meditated on the Lord daily.
Absolutely.
And meditation is very good and very healthy.
Right, and it's for everyone. Everyone should practice this, especially just the deep breathing and relaxing and focusing. It makes you happier. And up next, we're going to talk about one of Andre's favorite subjects, and that is leasing.
All right, we're going to get into leasing 101.
Let's go.
That's what I like to call it, know your rights. We're going to talk about the equal housing opportunity. Just to let you know, it is illegal to discriminate against any person because of race, color, religion, sex, handicap, familial status, or national origin. You may ask, I'm going to ask you a question, or you may ask me a question. Andre, what is housing? Housing is defined a dwelling that includes one building or part of a building designed for occupancy as a residence by one or more families. Okay, so we're going to look today at the family status, okay? And the many call it the familiar status.
Is that Full House, I see?
Yeah, that's for how they had a big family, so I figured
They
there'd be
did.
some good representatives here. All right, so the family status refers to the presence of one or more individuals who have not reached the age of 18 and who live with either a parent or a guardian. In effect, the family status reference means that the Act's protections extend to families with children. The term includes a woman who is pregnant unless a property qualifies as housing for older persons. all properties must be made available to families with children under the same terms and conditions as anyone else. So pretty much what this is saying, that a person can't discriminate against you because you have kids. Okay, I'm gonna just give you a little bit more knowledge here, just to let you know. Also, it is illegal to advertise properties as being for adults only, or to indicate a preferred number of children. Occupancy standards, the number of persons permitted to reside in a property, must be based on objective factors such as sanitation or safety. So we deal with leasing all the time on a week-to-week basis, and on a day-to-day basis. And sometimes we may run into owners or encounter owners that say, well, how many kids they have, or they don't want so many a person with 3 or 4 kids. Well, by law, they can't discriminate against a person that has kids to reside in their units. So just to let you know, it's against the law for anyone to tell you that, well, because you have so many kids or anything like that, that you can't live in a properties.
And then as leasing agents, if we do hear that from an owner or a
Yes.
property management company, it is our job to let them know that that's discriminatory and it cannot be tolerated.
Exactly. Yes, and you will run into that out there. So know your rights. The next thing I'm gonna talk about is disabilities. What is a disability? A disability is a physical or mental impairment. It is unlawful to discriminate against prospective buyers or tenants on the basis of such disabilities. Landlords must take reasonable accommodation to existing policies, practices, or services to permit persons with disability to have equal enjoyment of premises. And you can go online and look at the ADA, which stands for the Americans with Disabilities Act, okay? I'm gonna give you some examples here. An example of reasonable modification is to permit a person with a service animal to live in your home. Say, for instance, I'm a landlord, okay? And then I say, well, Melissa, you can't stay here because, we have a no pets rule. Okay, now if Melissa has a disability where she has a guide dog, well, by law, I can't discriminate against her and say, well, there's no pets rule, because that guide dog is for her, whatever disability she may have. For instance, she may be blind. Okay, so she may need a guide dog to guide her around and to help her out. Okay. So also moving on here, persons with disability must also be permitted to make reasonable modifications to the premises at their own expense. Landlord failure to permit reasonable modification constitute discrimination. An example, installing bath rails for a person with a wheelchair or lowering door handles. The landlord may not increase the customarily required security deposit for persons with disability. So just because a person walk up to you and say the security deposit was $1,200, and the landlord noticed that that person has a disability, he said, well, I'm gonna jack my security deposit up to $1,500, okay? Well, that is discriminatory and they cannot do that.
Right.
Okay? All right, so, and then last on this particular subject, I'm gonna just talk about if you have been discriminated against.
Okay.
Who you gonna call? All right, if you've been discriminated against, who you gonna call? No, you're not calling Ghostbusters.
Oh, I'm not. Oh, because I was just about to pick up my phone.
No.
Oh, okay.
You're gonna call HUD.
That's who I'm gonna call.
Yeah, you're gonna call HUD. And HUD number is 800-669-9777. And you can call them to file any complaint that you may have. And you have to file the complaint within a year of the alleged activity that went on.
And I know we made fun of it, but that's serious. If you feel as though you've been discriminated against and you've kind of written down, or you remember everything that happened through that experience, you definitely need to pick up the phone and call HUD, because that's what they're there for. They're advocates for you.
All right. So we're going to move on our upcoming event. We're going to pass it back over to Ms. Farmer, and she's going to talk about personal finances.
Yes, personal finances. So this segment, we are going to talk about debt. Now, there are reasons that we go into unmanageable debt. It could be loans, a reduction in income, it could be a divorce, or just poor consumer choices, all right? Did you know that consumer debt is now $3.4 trillion in the United States? And wait a minute, doesn't stop there. 38% of every household has a revolving debt of $10,000 or more. So for every 100 homes you have, there are 38 homes that owe $10,000 or more in revolving debt. And that revolving debt is like your credit card. If I have, let's for example, $100 on my credit card, I spend $50, I pay $20, then I spend $30 more. So it just keeps going and it never gets paid in full. So debt, as we know, it can ruin your life, it can ruin the goals you have, your dreams, but there is good news. It's never too late to turn things around. And so what I'd like to give you today are 7 simple steps to just get you on your way to pay off your debt. Now, the first step is make a commitment to be in a better financial position within a year. This is make the commitment to yourself. And I didn't say you're going to have all your debt paid off. I didn't say anything except start today to make next year better. All right? So that's the first thing you want to do, make a commitment to yourself. The second thing, don't borrow money in loans and or credit cards. So don't use credit cards to, finance your lifestyle. You want to get away from that. Just like I said, 38% of all Americans or United States household are $10,000 in revolving debt. So you want to get away from that. Third, we want to get to that $1,000 emergency fund.
Yes.
Now, remember, the $1,000 is just to start. It's only to start, because guess what? If you have $1,000 in your account and you have 3 emergency at $300 each, that only leaves you with $100.
Right.
So this is just to start that fund. We've identified all of the wasteful spending, so you've got the money there to do that. So we want to get to $10,000 or $15,000 as we go along the way, but we want to start off with $1,000.
Okay.
All right. So next is create a realistic budget. I'm not here to tell you what's important to you. You know what your priorities are, but you want to create a realistic budget. You know that you have to keep a roof over your head. You know you have to eat. You know you have to have bills to pay. You know you're going to go out and entertain yourself at some point.
Yes.
If you can reduce all of that, then, fine. But create a realistic budget for yourself and stick to that. And then the fifth thing we want to do is continue to track your spending. We talked about in past episodes, you want to track every dime you spend. That becomes important because you want to know where every dollar is going. All right. And then number 6 is organize your debt. So let's write down all of our debt and what we owe. You can start from lowest to highest or highest to lowest and start to pay that off. So how we do that is, if you're a person who likes rewards really quick, you're going to start off with your lowest credit card debt that you owe. And you're going to pay that off, because then you'll be able to reward yourself quicker. But if you have the largest bill and you pay that off and it takes a little more time, you'll be much happier, because then you're like, if I can pay off this $10,000 credit card, then everything else below that is easy. But that's up to you. And you can also look at your APRs, your annual percentage rate, and go by that too, from the highest to lowest or lowest to highest. So that's totally up to you, but you want to organize your debt. And then finally, you want to remain financially educated. You want to keep educating yourself. Now, the Chicago Federal Bank Reserve Bank has a website, and it's called moneysmartweek.org, and it happens usually in the week of April. It's a Money Smart Week, but you can go on that website, moneysmartweek.org, and they have a whole list of programs that are going on. They classes, and these are programs and classes with the financial experts, and these are free. So that's what you want to do. Continue to remain financially literate. And these are 7 simple steps that you can start with to pay off your debt. All right. So we're going to go right into the next segment, which is, what on earth are you doing with your money? All right. Okay. So at one time or another, I think we're all guilty of a late payment.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
But when you do it 3 and 4 and 5, you can identify that as a bad habit. okay? And we got to get out of that bad habit if that's what you're doing, because we're discussing today penalties and late fees. So penalties and late fees, the assessment on that could be in as much as from 30 all the way into the hundreds of dollars, all because of your forgetfulness. I forgot to pay my bill on time, so now I have to pay an extra 30 to 100 plus dollars just because I forgot. Let's not do that. Let's get away from those penalties and late fees. And there's an easy way to do it. You can either have withdrawals come out of your paycheck before you even get it from your employer, or you can set up a direct deposit with your bank, or you can go to that creditor's website and have automatic withdrawal. So those are 3 options, so you don't have to pay those late fees. So in what on earth are you doing with your money? Stop with the late payments and getting penalized for it.
That was excellent. Dave Ramsey, I love you again. You was talking about
I'm a fan.
$1,000 emergency
I'm a
fund.
fan.
You was talking about getting rid of credit
That's just
cards.
to start.
Yeah, to start. That's correct. That's correct. And you was talking about paying your debts off from the least to the most expensive.
It's important,
Yeah. All right. Well, we appreciate that. Upcoming now, one of the things we love to do, we love to travel. So we're going to take y'all to the great state of Memphis, the home of the blues, birthplace of rock and roll.
Yes. So we had the opportunity to go to Memphis, and there we visited. One of the places that we visited was the Blues Hall of Fame.
Yes.
And so I love the Blues Hall of Fame. It had just opened recently.
Yes, it had just opened. Yes.
When we went there, it had just opened recently. And what it is just you have all types of photos. You have interactive
you got the interactive music machines where you can hear a lot of the old music.
Interactive
from back in the 60s,
music
70s,
machines.
yes.
I mean, and it just goes back in the history of the blues, because Memphis is known as the home of the blues. So if you get the opportunity to visit Memphis, you don't want to miss the Blues Hall of Fame.
Yes, and then also we went to the Civil Rights Museum, visited the Lorraine Motel where Martin Luther King was assassinated. A lot of great history there. We took pictures. Yeah. And we just had a ball. And even as you see the pictures that we took, you see at the bottom left, I am a man. And the I am a man represents when the sanitation workers, they went on strike. I believe it's about 1,800 of them, February 12, 1968, if I'm not mistaken. And what happened was they went on strike because of unfair conditions and hazardous conditions. And they also had lost 2 of their workers that had died. So that was one of the reasons Martin Luther King was there, to protest and help those sanitation workers out there in Memphis, Tennessee during that time. So very, very important. You can go check it out if you're ever in Memphis. And then we had the opportunity to go to Beale Street.
Right.
Yeah, we had a blast in Beale Street. As you see, our beer said Beale Big Ass Beer. And they give you this big old cup with beer.
Good time.
Yeah, good time.
We had the opportunity to also visit the A. Schwab. Of course, it was established in the 1800s, and it is still there. We had a chance to see live blues music, live bands playing, and we visited, what was the restaurant that we went to?
I don't recall a restaurant, but I do remember going to, we had stopped at so many locations.
Yeah.
And we ran into a live band that was out there. They were singing some blues. And I think they gave me an alias. My new name was JoJo, I believe.
Right, and I was Melinda.
JoJo and Melinda. That was our name that day.
And they made up an entire song about it.
Yeah. So we had fun in Memphis. So definitely you get a chance, please visit Memphis. And then we also had a chance to visit the Memphis Rock and Soul Museum, which we had a blast at also.
And so the Rock and Soul Museum also talks about the history, but they do it from a civil rights perspective. And like they have songs like James Brown, I'm Black and I'm Proud, and all that type of music from that era to, kind of encourage or motivate the civil rights movement. And we had a good time all around in Memphis, I would
Absolutely,
say.
absolutely. So like we said, if you're ever in Memphis, please check out those locations. I guarantee you'll have a blast.
Right, and just I was able to jot down some of the hours of the Memphis Blues Hall of Fame, which is open from Sunday to Saturday from 10 to 5. If you want to go to the National Civil Rights Museum, it's open Sunday, Monday, it's closed Tuesday, and then it reopens from Wednesday to Saturday from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Beale Street, of course, is ongoing, so you can do things all the way up until about 4 a.m. if you're visiting Beale Street. And then the Rock and Soul Museum, which is also located in the hub of Beale Street, that's open 7 days a week from 10 to 7. So,
Okay.
yeah.
All right, we're going to move on to our last segment here, which is one of my favorites here.
Right.
And we're going to talk about spirituality. So we know the Bible tells us in 2 Timothy 2:15, study to show thyself approved unto God, a workman that needed not to be ashamed, but rightfully dividing the word of truth. And we love to look at truth in the scriptures. For today, we're going to talk about the brevity of life and the certainty of death. Okay, the brevity of life and the certainty of death. And what is brevity? Brevity, shortness of human life and time, brief in duration. Once again, shortness of human life and time, brief in duration. Hebrews 9:27 says, and as it is appointed unto men once to die, but after this, the judgment. So one day we know we're all going to meet our day. And one day we're going to all stand before the Creator, and we know that we all can't live to be 200 and 300 years old. For 2 Corinthians 4 verse 16 reads, for which cause we faint not, but though our outward man perish, yet the inward man is renewed day by day. So we understand that this outward man is going to one day it's going to get old, and it may get crippled, and we can't do the things that we're doing now in our youth. But the Bible talks about how the outward man will perish. And understanding this here, I like how in Job chapter 7 verse 6 through 7, and Job chapter 9 verse 25 through 26, Job describes life as wind that passes away. He describes life as a swift ship, or as an eagle that catches his prey. So he describes life as short, and that's what the brevity of life lets you know, that life is short. And I have to ask the question, what are you going to do with your time? See, we have no time to waste, and God has given each and every one of us a gift and a talent to go into the world and to be a blessing to someone, whether it's family, whether it's friend, whether it's somebody homeless. But what are you going to do with your life? Isaiah, in chapter 40, verse 6 to 8, Isaiah described life as grass that withereth away. As you look into King David's life in Psalms chapter 78 and chapter 78, 39, and Psalms 89 through 47 through 48, King David also describes life as wind that passeth away and not cometh again. For David writes, remember how short my time is. Wherefore hast thou made all men in vain? What man is he that liveth and shall not see death? Shall he deliver his soul from the hand of the grave? Selah. So even David recognized that life is short. And I have to ask you a question. What will the history books write about you when it's all said and done? Will history remember you as a person that chased women all your life? Will history remember you as a drunkard? Will history remember you as somebody that didn't go out to make changes in your life and in someone else? So you got to remember, what have you done with your life? And if you're listening to what I'm saying today, if you have breath in your body, you have to ask, have I utilized the talents and gifts that God has given me? For Les Brown says it best, the graveyard is the richest place on earth, because it is here that you will find all the hopes and dreams that were never fulfilled, the books that were never written, the songs that were never sung, the inventions that were never shared, the cures that were never discovered, all because someone was too afraid to take the first step, keep with the problem, or determined to carry out their dreams. So what would life say about you? Understanding that life is short and we have no time. We have to do what God has put us here on earth to do, and our time is running short. So go out and be a blessing to someone. Be an aspiration, be an inspiration, motivate somebody, encourage somebody, and use the gifts that God has given to you, that you can go out into this world and be effective. For Martin Luther King said it best the day before he died, like anybody, I would like to live a long life. Longevity has its place.
And I really like one of the slides that you had, and the slide said, no time to waste, every moment is precious. And it reminds me of a poem by Rittenhouse, and where he talks about bargaining with life, and someone bargained for so little when they could have done so many great things.
Yes.
And it just makes me think and say, don't bargain with life for small things when you have the opportunity to do something big. So you don't want to waste any given moment that you have, because like you said, what will your legacy be?
Yes.
What will the history books say about you? So that was fantastic. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate it. And as always, we like to thank everybody for tuning in
Yes.
to Contemporary Living with Farman Hill. And as always, I always tell people I thank God for God's grace, his unmerited favor and undeserving favor called grace. For grace is the total absence of any works. You can't work for it, you can't badge, you can't tarry for it.
Right.
For grace is strictly what God has given to each and every one of us. So we thank God for his grace. Go out and be a blessing in your communities, in somebody's life, and God will bless you. Have a good day.